Hi everyone, welcome to Alma Pura Awakenings. My name is Nikki. I'm a spiritualist medium and I've been connecting with people in heaven for about 30 years and connecting people to heaven for about 30 years. And during that time, I have learned so many beautiful and wonderful things about our experience here on earth and who we truly are as spiritual beings in a physical body. And today I wanted to take some time to share with you about spirit guides and how our spirit guides need us to help them help us. And that might sound like a little bit of a mouthful, but if we think about it, our spirit guides are co-creators with us, and we are co-creators with our spirit guides. So if there's not a good communication between our spirit guides and ourselves, then how will we help them help us? So that's the topic for today. Now I have some notes over here to the side that I intend on referring to during the time that I'm sharing this information with you. And the purpose of me doing that is so I stay on track. I can be a little bit wordy, so sometimes I just keep talking and talking and talking. So as a way of not doing that today and just kind of staying on track, I am going to be referring to my notes today. So once again, the topic of our talk today is our spirit guides, our core team, and how they need us to help them help us. So there's a few things that I wanted to explain about spirit guides. When we connect with our spirit guides, oftentimes we think that, oh, they should just guide us and we should know, and it's this, they should be able to effect change in our life. And that if there are spirit guides or there are friends and family in heaven, why didn't they save us from this car accident? Or why didn't they stop us from losing our job? Or, you know, so there's things that when we think of our spirit guides, we think that they can affect change in our life, or that they can save us from something in our life without any assistance or any responsibility from ourselves. And that's not really true. For our spirit guides to be effective in our life, for them to be able to affect the change and create the things and help us to create the things that we want to experience in our lives, it's more of a collaborative effort. They're not magic, they're spirit guides. And that's what we really want to pay attention to. So today I want to teach you a few things and just explain a few things about how to open yourself up to be able to have more of an interactive connection to your spirit guides and to kind of understand who your core team is. So today we're going to be talking about our core team of spirit guides and what their role is in our life and how that kind of impacts our life. And then I want to explain to you how can you identify your core team of spirit guides. Now you can come to me and I can have a session with you and I can connect with your friends and relatives in heaven and your angels that guide you. That's one way of figuring out who your core spirit team is. And you can also try out an exercise that I want to share with you in the second part of our video today. And then the third thing I want to explain is just a little bit about how we can collaborate with our spirit and with our spirit team so that we can manifest the things that we're really looking for in our life. And when I say that, I mean manifest the joy that we really want to experience in our life. And oftentimes, really, if we are joyful, everything else falls into place. And when we don't feel alone, and when we feel like somebody's got our back, and all we have to do is call on that person, it's awesome. And sometimes we are so fortunate enough to have people in our life like that. But even if you feel like you don't have people in your life like that, even if you feel like there's nobody for you to call and there's nobody that will help you figure out a problem or listen to your troubles or advise you in a good way, if you identify your core spirit guide team, you'll never feel alone again. You'll never feel like there's not someone motivating you or validating you or lifting you up when you're down or giving you the perfect advice that you need for your life. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time explaining that to you as well. So right now, let's start with our first part, which is our core spirit guide team and who's on the team. So we have a few different positions that I like to identify as our core team. So in our core team, we have our principal, spirit guide, and guardian angel. That would be our first main guide. And I like to call that guide our principal and main spirit guide, or our divine guide, because they are the ones that help you help you. So whomever your principal spirit guide and guardian angel is, they have some ability to connect with you in a deeper sense than your other spirit guides. So when I connect with somebody's spirit guide, what I notice in their principal spirit guide connection is that the person that is your main and principal spirit guide is connected to every chakra in your body. It's kind of like a one-to-one connection. So their crown energy and your crown energy is connected. Your third eye, their throat energy. Your throat energy, heart chakra to heart chakra, solar to solar, sacral to sacral, root to root. Now, a principal spirit guide, again, their job is to help you help yourself. So their job really is to create a friendship between your human self and a spirit and your spirit self. So your main principal spirit guide is going to help your human spirit self become best friends. I consider them to be the most divine guide that you can have in your earthly experience, because they are, again, connected to every chakra in your body. When they connect to your crown chakra, it kind of feels like it's like a truth that just kind of pops into your head. Maybe it'll be when you're laying on the couch watching TV and a thought just randomly pops into your head while you're really focused on the TV show and says, hey, do your laundry. And you're like, nah, I'll just do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow morning you wake up, you realize you need that pair of pants, and you have this memory of telling yourself to do the laundry. That would be connected to a source of information that is between you and your spirit guide. So it's kind of like your soul and your spirit guide, your principal one, are having a conversation while you're watching TV. And so even though your human mind is really focused on the TV show, when that thought interruption pops into your head in words and phrases, just kind of do your laundry, it is sort of like you're listening to an already had conversation with your principal spirit guide and your spirit. And then the union of the love that you share with your main spirit guide kind of busts through the barrier of your humanity and plops a message in your head telling you to do your laundry. Guarantee if you don't get up and do your laundry tomorrow, you're going to be upset that you didn't listen to yourself. And really what you'd be saying then is, oh, I wish I would have listened to the already had conversation I had between my principal spirit guide and my spirit. Your principal spirit guide can also connect with you in the third eye. And sometimes that connection is like you may meet somebody for the first time. And when you meet them, all of a sudden you have a memory of somebody you knew in high school. And you learned some things about that person in high school. So when you met this person, they either looked like them or they acted like them. And so you had an impression or a memory kind of pop into your head from somebody that you knew a long time ago when you're meeting somebody new. And so what that really is a reference to is like, as you're meeting this person new in your humanity, your spirit and your principal spirit guide are like, hey, remember that girl from high school that you were really good friends with? That really, really sweet girl? Because that picture of her just kind of pops into your head. Now, that means that your soul and your principal spirit guide are giving you a little bit of a hint. Like, what is this new person that you're meeting? What are they like? What did you learn about that friend of yours from high school that popped into your head? That would give you a little hint of what type of personality you are meeting right now. Sometimes when our principal spirit guide is in connection with our spirit, they can connect with us through the throat energy. And that would be something similar to maybe somebody asks you a question. And when they ask you a question, you might not really know the answer, but as you start explaining what comes into your mind, you recognize that there's this flow of information that's like coming through you. And in your human mind, you're like, wow, I hope somebody's like tape recording me because this information is really good. I didn't know I knew that, but you kind of get on this flow, or some people like to call it a stream of consciousness. So sometimes you'll find yourself in a stream of consciousness where you yourself are super surprised with the things that you're saying, and you're almost impressed with yourself about the things that you're saying. Traditionally, that comes from the union between your principal spirit guide and your spirit. And as that union forms itself, the vibration and the momentum of that connection flows into your throat chakra and allows you to translate this stream of consciousness that might be coming through you when you're trying to help somebody or guide somebody, or when you're giving a speech or a meeting or something like that. When we bring it down to the heart chakra, our principal spirit guide and guardian angel can connect with us through the heart chakra, and that's our spirit too. So keep in mind, when I'm talking about our principal spirit guide, I'm talking about the connection that your soul has, that your spirit self, your higher self, has with your friends and family in heaven, and that there's one main person that is going to connect with you spirit to spirit. And so that's what I'm referencing when I talk about how your principal spirit guide can give you information through your chakra system, and that they do that by being connected truly to your spirit. And then that union is what has the ability to kind of become the dominant aspect of one of those or more of those chakras. So coming into the heart chakra, we may feel heart palpitations, or what we may call like a little mini panic attack, or some butterflies kind of through our heart energy. And oftentimes when we're going through an experience that may challenge us in an emotional way, our spirit and our principal spirit guide, again in union, may activate some vibration in our heart chakra that could potentially cause us to feel a physical sensation, which would be our tip-off to let us know that we're having a communication between our soul and our main guide. Sometimes people misinterpret that energy through the heart chakra to be anxiety or a panic attack, because it kind of feels like that. And sometimes when we recognize that it's not anxiety or panicky, and we just say, let's say your mom is your principal spirit guide and she's in heaven, then you might say, hi mom, recognizing that that communication in the heart chakra is something that you're supposed to recognize or pay attention to. So sometimes when you just say, oh, hi mom, I know it's you, it'll kind of calm down, and then that feeling of anxiety will go away, or that palpitation. So our principal spirit guide in union with our spirit can also affect change through the heart chakra. In the solar plexus, follow it kind of along the same lines. It's pretty physical. Sometimes butterflies in the stomach, little bit of anxiety. Sometimes when our principal spirit guide is connecting with us through the solar plexus, it might feel like a gut instinct. It might be like, oh, I just have to do that no matter what my mind says. I have this, gut instinct that this is the way we should do things. That's also like a description of how your principal spirit guide can connect with you through the solar plexus. In the sacral chakra, this is usually this is our chakra that deals with emotions and relationships with other people. So sometimes we might develop some stomach issues, or we may have some fluttering down there. We may get a little bit of lower back pain. Sometimes when our spirit wants to connect with us through the sacral chakra, we'll feel that in the physical realm of our bodies, like lower back pain or sciatic nerve or some stomach upset, lower intestinal type of things. And I could get way more into how the sensations in these more physical chakras might feel and what they may mean, but again, that's for another day. Otherwise, I'll get lost on a tangent telling you all about that. Our principal spirit guide can also connect with us in the root energy or in our physical energy. And sometimes when we identify who our principal spirit guide is, our physical body extending from the root chakra will be a way that we can identify that they are connecting with us. So, for example, my mom passed away of lung cancer. So when I feel her in a physical sense, I may get a pressure through my lung on the side that she had her tumor in. My grandmother had a couple strokes, and sometimes, and part of her body was a little bit paralyzed from the strokes. So sometimes when my grandmother connects with me, I may feel a little sensation of paralysis in one side of my body. And so what I'm just trying to explain here is that when our principal spirit guide connects with us through the root chakra, they are really trying to let us know that they are here for us. And so as a result of that, we might get a little bit of physical sensation of what their experience was when they were here on earth. Another good thing is it's not always the physical ailments that you'll feel when your principal spirit guide connects with you through the root chakra. Sometimes you'll just simply get a taste for an ice cream that they liked, like butter pecan was my mom's favorite. So when she's connecting with me through the root chakra as my principal spirit guide, I may have a taste for that butter pecan ice cream, even though it's not one of my favorites. Okay, our next, that kind of covers our principal spirit guide connection. Our next spirit guide that is part of our core team would be our spirit guide of intuition. And often, and now we have two spirit guides that kind of reside up above us. One is our spirit guide of intuition. One is our spirit guide of health, well-being, and balanced. A lot of times I'll recognize that the spirit guide of intuition, health, well-being, and balance are the same person. They're the same guide. Again, that position that I see a person's principal spirit guide standing in, back to the principal guide. The principal spirit guide stands next to you on the side of the heart. And when I connect with a person's principal spirit guide, I notice that they're next to them on the side of the heart, and that there's that chakra to chakra connection. I think I neglected to tell you the position of the principal spirit guide as I was just going through it. A spirit guide of intuition, health, well-being, and balance, they stand up above you. And when they stand up above you, I recognize that the light that they share with you also connects to every chakra, but it's more of a top-down type of experience. In other words, their light connection travels through your chakra system top down. Your principal spirit guide is a one-to-one connection. So again, your principal spirit guide helps you help you. And your intuition spiritual guide, your intuitive guide of health, well-being, and balance, they help you help others from an intuitive perspective. From an intuitive perspective, they help you help others. If they are also your spirit guide of health, well-being, and balance, they will help your physical body with ailments, emotional imbalance, mental imbalance. That's kind of what their role is. They need to keep you healthy, balanced. They need your well-being to be good. Because if you're good, if your well-being is healthy, if your body is healthy, if your mind is healthy, if your emotions are healthy, if you're aligned with you, your ability to help others is increased 100-fold. And so your spirit guide of intuition health, well-being, and balance is the one that will help you help others if they are successful in keeping you balanced within yourself. Again, that can be two different spirit guides. That can be simply one guide for intuition, and you can have a separate guide for well-being, health, and balance. But a lot of times I see that they are one and the same. So your intuitive and health spirit guides, I already told you what they do, and you know how to, through the principal spirit guide explanation a few minutes ago, you know how now to kind of interpret when spirit connects to you. Each of these two spirit guides, intuitive, health, well-being, and balance, and principle, they can affect every chakra, and they also have a good way of sending vibration and information into every one of those chakras. So those two spirit guides, or three spirit guides, they are connected to you in a divine manner because they have the ability to affect vibration in every single chakra that you have. Okay, so our next spirit guide and our core team is going to be our spirit guide of divine timing and protection. Now, your spirit guide of divine timing and protection, they are the guide of earth life. So they want to make sure that you're in the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right thing so you can get the best benefit out of your life. So now their purpose is to protect you. Their purpose is to, again, get you to the right place at the right time, to rescue you in a moment's notice, to be Johnny on the spot. They also have a really good ability to manipulate time for you because they are a spirit guide of divine timing and protection. So if you just think of that, you know, if you're running late and you should have been able to get out of the house, but you can't get out of the house, I often look at my spirit guide of divine timing and protection. I'm like, hey, if you could just slow down time a little bit for me so I get there on time, so I get a little bit more activity out of time, so I can get there on time, so I can complete the things that I need to complete on time. And again, that is our spirit guide of divine timing and protection. They are connected predominantly to your root chakra, your heart chakra, and your crown chakra. And they connect to your crown, your heart, and your root because they know what you're thinking. They know that what your heart's desire is, and they know how to help you to manifest it on earth. And that's the kind of the responsibility that they take, is that they try to work things out energetically or vibrationally so that good things happen in your life, and healing things happen in your life, and protection things happen in your life. So that would be our spirit guide of divine timing and protection. We also have a spirit guide of karma, spirit guide of past lives. These are the energies that know you from a previous life. So maybe you and your grandma were in a previous lifetime together, and your grandma connects in a way that demonstrates to you that she was with you in a previous lifetime. So she would be the person that would be potentially your spirit guide of karma or your spirit guide of past lives. And the reason that that is distinct from the way that the other spirit guides and your core team are going to connect with you is because your spirit guide core team, they are really focused on this incarnation of your life. So your principal spirit guide and guardian angel, the one we spoke about first, they're connected to this incarnation. They want this incarnation of your physical body and your spirit self to be best friends. They're working on that friendship. Your spirit guide of intuition, health, well-being, and balance is here for the purpose of your soul job, to help you help others, to give others the gift that God is asking you to give them. So they're about this incarnation too. Your spirit guide of divine timing and protection, the third spirit guide that we spoke about, the one that can manipulate time for you, the one that will try to get you in the right place at the right time. They are also really more connected to this incarnation of your experience. But when we talk about the spirit guide of karma, the spirit guide of past lives, these would be the souls that your soul has known through every lifetime. So they're connected to your soul journey for all of your lifetimes, not just the spirit journey of this lifetime, but how this spirit journey in this body connects to the larger picture of who your soul is. So when we think about our spirit guide of karma, our spirit guide of past lives, these are the ones that, for example, if you came to see me for a past life reading or for an Akashic record reading, I would really want to figure out who is your spirit guide of karma, because I know that they've been with you in a few lifetimes. And sometimes when we're trying to achieve balance of the analytical self or the emotional self or the physical self, we carry qualities from a previous life. We carry challenges from a previous life. And sometimes we're imbalanced in this lifetime because we can't connect the dots. We don't know why we feel a certain way. Nothing in our life made us feel that way. We didn't have any experience in our life that caused this worry or this phobia or this imbalance. And sometimes those things come from a previous life. So, for example, if you came to see me for a healing session and you were finding imbalance in your mental capacity or in your emotional capacity or in your earthly capacity without any reasoning, without any understanding of why you could potentially feel this way. If we can't find that answer in your own human physical experience of this lifetime, there's a really high potential that you may be drawing in something in your soul from a previous lifetime that you will be able to help with. So under those guidances, we would want to connect with your spirit guide of karma, or the spirit guide of past lives. I think that's all I have to say about the spirit guide of karma. They usually know the difference between your soul mission and your spirit mission on this earth. So there will be a main project that your soul, that your soul will be working on during every incarnation. So you have a main project. And in your lifetimes, over the course of your lifetimes, you are going to build the momentum you need for that main soul project. A soul project is usually something that you're doing in honor of humanity, to elevate the human race, to elevate our planet, to elevate love, to elevate consciousness, would be a traditional expression of what a soul project or a soul mission would be. But we do have individual spirit missions, our job for God while we're on this earth in this body, keeping in mind that whatever that is will contribute to the overall soul journey or soul mission. So your spirit guide of karma, Akashic record, past lives, those are the spirit guides that we would want to connect with when we're trying to discover something about the bigger picture of our existence outside of this incarnation and in connection to the one that is everything. We also have a spirit guide of emotional support, and a spirit guide of emotional support is a spirit guide that is truly connected 100% to our heart chakra. And the spirit guides of emotional support, they really try to connect with us in times where we should feel super proud of ourselves or super excited with ourselves, or like sometimes we work really hard on something and we develop this sense of joyfulness and pride inside ourselves. Sometimes we get giddy, or we get overexcited and our bodies start going and we just get really happy. Our spirit guides of emotional support, oh my gosh, They are so connected to that inner joyfulness. You are not alone when you are celebrating who you are. And your spirit guide of emotional support will be there for every celebration and will joyfully fill you with vibration that makes you kind of, just have all this energy inside of you. It's really awesome. But keep in mind that a spirit guide of emotional support is also the one that is going to be there with you in the times of struggle. The one that will hug you in your soul, in your spirit when you're down, when your heart is breaking, or when people break your heart, or when earth is difficult. You're also not alone in that turmoil or in that challenge. And so sometimes you may even feel like, oh, my heart is breaking. This experience happened and now my heart is just breaking. Keep in mind that that physical, energy, emotional thing that you're feeling is shared with your spirit guide of emotional support. And sometimes that activation in your heart chakra might confuse you and might make you think that you're so sad because you have this pressure through your chest or through your heart or through this area of your body. But keep in mind that that would simply be a connection with your spirit guide of emotional support, who will never let you walk through any emotion by yourself. So that's who. Let me just make sure I covered them all. I do believe I did. Okay, so I covered our core team, and I'm just going to review again who's our core team. Our principal spirit guide and guardian angel, our intuitive spirit guide, our health, well-being, and balance spirit guide, our emotional support spirit guide, and our spirit guide of divine timing and protection. And we also have a spirit guide of our soul, or our spirit guide of karma. So these are the people that are connected to our core team. Now, who makes up the core team? These can be angels, they can be light beings, they can be friends and family that you knew in this lifetime that have passed on. It can actually even be friends and family that are not passed on, but the soul is eternal. So you may discover in your quest that somebody that is currently alive, that their spirit is so connected to your spirit that they serve as a spirit guide to you at some level of capacity. Again, that is a video for another day. So now we want to talk about, how do we connect with our core spirit team? My suggestion is that you give 1 week for every member of your core team that you would like to connect with. So I'm going to give you an example of one, and then you can utilize that same example of connection with all of the rest of your guides. But what you're going to want to do is at least give a week in between trying to discover who each guide is, because you want to first put the question out there. You're going to want to wait for the answer. Then you're going to want to try to look for 3 examples or 3 forms of confirmation that really solidify for you that this person is your spirit, your spirit guide. So let's say I will explain to you how I discovered that my grandmother was my spirit guide of intuition, health, and well-being. So here's how you're going to do it. Let's choose that one. Spirit guide of intuition, health, well-being, and balance. So I put that out there. I said, well, I said a little prayer. I asked God if he could connect me and present to me, and along with that, if my spirit guide of intuition would connect with me and let me know who they are. So I sat with it for a little bit. I just said the prayer and I put the question out there to the universe. And then I waited. I got up. I think I did my laundry. I got, in the middle of doing a few things in my home. And then all of a sudden, as I was getting ready to get everything out for dinner, I decided I was going to make rice that night. So My grandma is the person that taught me how to make rice. So when I had asked who is my spirit guide, and I walked away, started doing things in my house, after a little while, as I was cooking dinner, I got this memory that popped into my head, like out of nowhere. And it was my grandmother handing me a glass of water. In my memory, it was my grandmother handing me a glass of water, and she said, you needed 1 cup, which 1 cup of water. And it just popped into my head. And so I grabbed the cup out of the cabinet, and I started to fill it so I could add it to the rice. And what I realized is, oh my gosh, I just had a thought interruption. The thought interruption was a memory from a long time ago when I was like 8 years old, and my grandma was trying to explain something to me about making rice, and she said you needed 1 cup. And that just occurred to me. And it kind of saved the day for me, because I was making the rice and I was measuring everything out. And I was making a half a cup of rice, and you need 1 cup of water. So what I want to explain with that is, earlier in the day, I had asked, who is my spirit guide of intuition? And as I was getting ready to prepare things to cook dinner, and rice was one of those things that I was cooking, I wasn't thinking about my grandmother. I wasn't trying to discover who my spirit guide of intuition was or anything. I was just cooking dinner. But I had asked the question earlier. So when I was getting the preparations ready, and this random impression in my third eye popped in, and it was a memory of my grandma from a long time ago asking me about a cup of water, I realized that that was my grandmother giving me a message in my third eye to get me to know something. And it was about how much water to put for the half a cup of rice. But because it popped into my third eye, and there was literally a vision or a memory of my grandmother there that actually did happen a long time ago and occurred to me just now as I'm preparing everything to make the rice, it tipped me off that that's an answer to my question. Not only did she help me intuitively remember that I need a cup of water for my half a cup of rice, she did it by activating my third eye and by giving me that information prior to me actually cooking the rice, prior to me actually getting everything going on the stove. So that's an intuitive piece of information. Now, in my mind, because I asked the question, this is what you're going to do. You're going to ask the question, then you're going to let it go. And then you're going to go about your day and go about your life. And you're going to be alert and aware that if a family member or a friend from heaven connects with you and you ask that question about who is this guide to me, then you'll have a good understanding. Oh, okay, I think my grandmother is my spirit guide of intuition. So now I'm going to spend a few weeks, a few days, when I did this like a really long time ago, and I was just learning about these concepts. So I literally did spend like weeks just trying to validate and prove to myself that I could trust that the guidance coming from my grandmother, actually the way that she communicated with me, how she communicated with me, what is her traditional manner of communicating with me. But that's how it started. It started by me asking a question, and then I got an answer, and then I used the answer I got and found out my grandmother was right. And then once I had that initial understanding, then I waited because I wanted to see if she could share other intuitive information with me. So during that next week or two, there were 3 other pieces of intuition that I had been made aware of by my grandmother that confirmed and validated and proved to me that my grandmother was my spirit guide of intuition. And when I did that, I just said, give me intuition today. I didn't ask for anything specific. I just wanted intuition from my grandmother and any chakra that she could give it to me in. And this would confirm for me that she was my spirit guide. Now, once I understood that, and once I felt comfortable with that, now I had to try to create an interactive connection with my grandmother, because first I asked, who is my intuitive spirit guide? Then I got proof. I used the proof and it was true. And then I waited some time to see what other pieces of intuition I had been made aware of prior to needing that information or prior to that happening. That also solidified that I can hear, understand, and translate the information from my intuitive spirit guide through my connection to my spirit and to her. I could translate it, that I was translating it accurately, that the things I was perceiving were actually coming true, and that they were actually needed and necessary. So then once I did that, once I could prove who it was, and I could prove that I could understand, listen, translate, and act accordingly, according to the guidance that I was given and the intuition I was given. Once I completed that, then I tried to make it interactive. So then I started to say things to my grandmother like, can you share what the weather's going to be like on Tuesday? And then I would walk away from that question, and I would wait over the next couple days to see if I got any information that appeared in my vision or as a sign. Sometimes we get outside signs from our spirit guides. Some of my intuition was connected to outside signs. I do a lot of these videos, and I think in one of the videos I talk about signs and how we receive signs through communication with our own spirit. But in any case, it was a Friday, and I asked my grandma, could you let me know what the weather is going to be like on Tuesday? And about the next afternoon, I think like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, I was in the middle of a conversation with my daughter that had nothing to do with the memory that popped into my head, but there was a memory that popped into my head that showed me and my grandma walking to the Walgreens with my grandfather on a really, 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 really hot day, like really hot day. And I had remembered that I asked her last night or the night before, what was the weather going to be like on Tuesday. And so I got a memory pop into my head in the middle of a conversation with somebody else that had nothing to do with the weather. And it popped into my third eye of a time I shared with my grandparents when we took a walk up to the Walgreens, and it was like super hot. So under my assumption and under the way that I am able to translate the information that I had been practicing with my intuitive spirit guide, being my grandmother, meaning she can give me a message, I translate it correctly, I act accordingly, and I do that. Once I could do that, and I asked the question, then I have to see when it's interactive, when I ask the question and receive the answer, am I also able to translate it in the proper manner? And so just so happens that it was warm on Tuesday. On that following Tuesday, it was probably the hottest day of the week. And I remember thinking, okay, now I know that I can ask my grandmother a question and I can get an answer. So there were 3 phases in me trying to identify who my spirit guide of intuition was. First, it was the prayer and the question, inviting that person and God to join my experience and share with me who in my family or of the angels was guiding me for intuition. And I got a memory that indicated it was my grandmother about the rice. Then I waited around for a few weeks and kept trying to ask every day for a little bit of intuition just so I could track it, make sure I could understand it and translate it. And I was able to. Once I was able to do that, then I tried to ensure that I could make it interactive. I could ask a question and I could get an answer, and that the resulting experience was in fact true, that what my question was about, what was the weather going to be like, I got an answer to that, and then I waited to see if that was true, and it resulted as true. So in these phases of recognizing this one spirit guide of my core team, I recognized how she specifically communicated with me, what her intonation was when she was communicating with me, what were her favorite chakras to use when she was communicating with me, and how was I able to translate that information, vibration, picture, feeling, thought, how was I able to translate that? Once you complete that information and you gather a good understanding of that, you know, you can take this as fast as you like, but my experience is spend a few weeks with that one spirit guide so that you and that spirit guide can develop a realm of connection with one another, an ability and ease to recognize, because when you start to incorporate other spirit guides, that takes us to a whole nother realm, a whole nother experience, a whole nother way of connecting, because all of the spirit guides, they work together with you. So I will do another video. Maybe I'll call this video part 1, and I'll call the next video part 2. But keep in mind that if your spirit guides, if you are understanding them and recognizing them, this is definitely one of the best things that you can do to get through your life. So that's how you meet them. That's how you start to identify the different people in your core team. Again, I'll make another video on the core team and how they interact with one another. But I just wanted to make sure you know how to make a connection. Now, when I talk about the third point that I wanted to make here was how does our spirit guides need us to help them help us? Okay, and this is just really logical and common sense. If I'm laying on the couch watching TV and I'm real focused on the TV show, and out of the blue, a thought pops in my head and says, go do your laundry. I have free will right here. I can choose to go do my laundry or choose not to go do my laundry. I guarantee you that when our inner voice, when our spirit guides are connecting with our spirit self, we receive inner voice guidance. So when that message comes to me in my crown chakra that says, do your laundry, free will happens right here. I have a choice to listen to it, to take its guidance, or to blow it off and not do it and wait till tomorrow. If I get up and do it tomorrow, I'm probably going to be happy that my jeans are clean and I can use them. But if I don't do it tomorrow morning, I might not be so happy because I'm going to realize that I need that pair of pants. So I screwed it up by not listening to myself. So if I don't listen to my guidance, to that inner voice that is solely responsible to be the connection between you and your guides, if we don't listen to that part of ourselves, how can our spirit guides help us? If I'm going to spend all this time getting to know who my core team is, then I have to recognize that I have some responsibility in their effectiveness in my life. Because my principal spirit guide maybe told my spirit, hey, she needs those pair of pants tomorrow. But if I, Nikki, the human being laying on the couch watching TV, doesn't listen to the inner guidance, then I actually, by not doing it, by not listening, by not following that inner communication through the chakra system, which is connected to my spirit guides, if I don't listen, then what help can my spirit guides possibly give me if I am not reacting to a connection with them? If I'm ignoring them, they can't help me. If they're trying to help me, how are they going to do that? So our spirit guides, yes, they are here to help us foster the best life we can possibly achieve here, but they are only co-creators with us. We have free will. We are the ones that have to co-create with our spirit how our life is going to be. Okay? So keep that in mind. Get to know who your core spirit guide team is. Spend time with each spirit guide, practicing, nurturing the relationship, listening, following the guidance, taking the action, make it interactive, ask questions, wait for answers, be patient. You should get your answer within 3 days if you're asking a question. Yeah, I think that's about it. And then once you know who they are and you worked out your communication with them, how it works, then I think you're good. I think we covered everything. I was just kind of got lost there for a second as I was just making sure I covered everything. Wow, this turned out to be a little bit longer than I had initially thought about. I thought maybe this would take about 40 minutes, but we're at about 50 minutes, almost an hour. I think I'm going to sign off for now, folks. Thanks so much for staying with me during this time of teaching and sharing, and I hope it helps you. And gosh, good luck finding out who your core spirit guide team is. It's really been a pleasure to connect with you today. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch the video. You can contact me at almapura.com, which is ALMAPURA.com, which is my website. I'm also on Facebook. I hope to connect with each and every one of you. If you have questions, you can post them below. Please leave me some comments. Please share with me if you liked the video or if you think it was effective for you. If you have any questions while you're trying to figure all this out, you can always send me a text message or you can Facebook message me, and I will try to help you in any way I can. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.